podcast, where today we have a returning guest. I think for the first time ever, we have a returning guest.
Is it?
Bernardo, welcome to the show, sir, from Raptus Games. How are you?
Thank you. I'm glad to be here again. I'm good. I'm good. Kind of relaxing a bit. Not fully relaxed, but
There's only
breathing
a
a bit.
hurricane going on. It's fine. Just relax. It's
That's.
okay.
I mean, there's been a hurricane in here for most of last year, so now that it's gone, it's at least. I mean, to be honest, nowadays games don't really release because
Well,
even when you like specifically when you release you start figuring out so much stuff
we're going to
giving
hop into
you
all that in just a second. Let me get the rest of
yeah
the intros in here real quick. Bernardo's game is NBB.exe. Let me just say that up front. That just got released on Steam on October 1st. Am I
yes
correct? Okay, so you guys can go pick this up now. We're going to talk to him about it. This whole episode is going to be about Bernardo, his company, and his game. So
Mhm.
we'll split this into two parts. We're going to talk about Bernardo first and then his game. My co-host here, of course, is always Wes. Wes, how you doing, sir?
What's going on, guys? Bernardo, it's good to see you again.
And then if you guys like what you hear today, please consider supporting us over on Patreon, patreon.com/nerdenthusiast. You can support us for as little as $1 a month. The money we make over there goes right back into our shows. It helps support us, and we really, really appreciate it. Don't forget to follow the company at Nerd Enthusiast on all social media platforms. And I think that's everything. I don't know. It doesn't matter. We're here to talk to Bernardo today, so that's what we're going to focus on.
Yeah.
So before we get into your game and we talk about your company and the release, let's just catch back up for the people. Like I said, this is the first time we're having someone back on the show. I think
Yeah.
ever.
Yes, it is.
So Bernardo, how have you been? What's going on? Talk to us.
Well, I don't remember when it was that I was in the podcast before.
It was about a year ago, maybe a little bit
Right.
longer.
A little bit longer than a year.
Yeah, I was probably trying to release my game back then too.
I'm pretty
I
sure
was
you were.
I was fairly sure I was gonna no, it's gonna be next month. I'm gonna do it. It's just like but yeah, I mean that's what's been happening really. I've been working on releasing my game. It had been in production for well almost 10 years, but not really. I mean, I had a full time job in the middle there. I had a few other things that I had to do, so it's always been sort of part time hobby ish. But the last few years, it had been full time. And I was kind of desperate trying to finish it. Really, I'm really happy with how it ended up being. But after 10 years, any project is kind of a marathon. You want it to be over. That's been the basically the update. I've been living here in Miami the last year mostly. I'm from Chile originally, but living here for other reasons, for family business stuff. But since I can do my game dev remotely from anywhere, that's what I do. And yeah, I'm really excited that it's out now. I mean, there's obviously a little bit bittersweet. The launch also maybe didn't go as I had hoped.
Well, we're gonna get into your game.
Yeah,
Let's hang on to that. Let's talk
but
about something else for just a second.
sure,
You also do a podcast with
I
Rick,
do.
your partner.
Yeah.
What's your podcast about? Where can people find that? Let us know.
Oh, that's true. Well, yeah, we have a podcast called sort of company, I guess. Suppose we do similar everythings. We're called Dual Media, and you can find us at Dual Duel Media in YouTube and social media, but mostly YouTube. And we do mostly movie reviews, game reviews, podcasts, and yeah, I mean it's sort of like an outlet to other things because often I'm very isolated into this one thing, and that's another side of I don't know. I guess our geekdom. We're very movie people, so we like it. We talk about it a lot.
I'm gonna throw in one other thing because I
Mhm.
was very interested in seeing this movie. Then I saw the bad reviews and I haven't. But then you give it a, let's say, semi-positive review
Yeah.
of the new Joker movie.
Oh
So
yeah.
we'll let Wes talk. I know Wes probably already seen this. He probably already seen it twice, knowing Wes. But what are your thoughts? And then I want to hear Wes's thoughts because I love the first movie, and I'm not even a fan of like Marvel or DC stuff at all.
Yeah.
So what did you think? And then Wes, I want to hear from you after that, please.
Okay.
So, I mean, we haven't actually made a review out of it, so I don't have all my kind of thoughts organized. But it's messy. It's a weird movie. The fact that it's a musical is odd. It's a it feels almost like a necessity because they had Lady Gaga in the team, so they had to make her sing. Uh,
Try to do it
it's
spoiler free too, by the way. Let's keep this
no,
spoiler.
no. Of course, I won't. I won't. But as messy as it was, I thought that the ultimate like thematic structure and the message was pretty significant, poignant, strong, um, unexpected, much more grounded than the first one, even
Hmm.
almost. Yeah, I would have wanted them to marry sort of the musical aspect of the movie and the more Joker, what do you expect aspects of the movie more. They seem very much like, okay, here's our musical number, here's our. Now we continue with the plot. There's only a few that really kind of merge the narrative and move it forward. And that's sort of where I would have really wanted to see more of a focus. Yeah, there's a lot of fandom being mad about things, and I don't give a fuck about it. So I don't get mad. I'm not a fan of the Joker. I'm not a fan of DC. I don't care what they do with characters like that. So if in this continuity it kind of made sense, I thought it was pretty effective. So
Okay.
that's yeah. Yeah, I think that it was great. Other than like this fumbling of the musical side of it. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think? What,
Hmm.
you
So
disagree?
I do. I they should have just kept the music out.
Hmm,
It just
sure.
I like the first one. I like the first movie better. The first movie was so good.
Yeah.
The one thing the second movie did, and and it's not giving anything away. If anybody's seen the first movie, at the end you're kind of scratching your head wondering if that stuff really happened or was it in his head. The second movie does answer that question definitively. But I was like, why? It just and it, yeah. It was a movie made, like he said, for Lady Gaga to sing.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, that's disappointing to me just because, I mean, Joaquin Phoenix is an amazing actor. Like, come on,
Mhm.
man. Like, that
I
should
He,
think
be the
he
centerpiece.
he's great here.
he killed the first one. I thought
Oh,
he was great.
oh yeah.
He's still great here. I think. It's yeah. I think that okay. I'm gonna say something that's awful. I like it better than the first movie, but I'm an artsy fag, so take it as you will. Uh, there are things about the first movie that were kind of trying to tie it to the comic bookness.
hmm
Like I remember specifically, there's this one scene where he's trying to sneak into like an opera house, and he like steals the costume from like the bell bottom. I don't know, it's some guy in the bathroom, and then sneaks in, and I'm like, this is fucking Scooby Doo shit. I don't understand what's happening, right? And this one remains like super, like really somber and very like, yeah, it has a gravitas all the way going through, and I really enjoyed that. I know that for most people, this is it doesn't it has nothing to do with Batman, with DC, with anything.
It does. It
It
really doesn't.
it actually ends up in a really interesting place for that if they wanted to do something with that. But this
hmm
movie has nothing to do with it.
hmm
So yeah,
Well,
I
that makes it more
understand.
interesting to me because, like I said earlier, I don't care about any of that stuff. So,
Yeah, you mileage may vary. Yes, I do think there is one plot point that towards the end that doesn't fully pay off, but that'd be a spoiler, and I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't
let's
want to
keep
say
it
anything
spoiler
else.
free. I don't want to. I don't want to ruin
Yeah.
this for anybody or myself. I might go check it out, even though it got some bad reviews.
It's it's if you've seen the first one, is it worth seeing the second one? Yes.
Probably.
People, it's getting mixed reviews. It's you either love it or hate it. It's just
Yeah.
me. I'm just very it was. I could have did without the musicals. It just
Yeah.
if it just would have been just a straight movie, I would have been fine. But the music parts of it, I think could have been left out. Maybe one or
Yeah.
two, but not the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
Certainly.
Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up. Is that your dog behind you?
Not my dog. It is a dog. I do have a no, my sister has a pug.
So you just have okay, all right, your sister's pug. I was gonna say you have a
Yeah.
random pug just chilling behind you.
It's not just a random pug. It's something that I saw last year for Halloween.
I thought that was like on your. I thought that was a cushion. I did not realize that was a friggin' mask that you could wear. Okay. Okay.
This is the state of things. So I saw it and I had to have it. So because also I love my pug. I love Toto, my sister's pug. So I thought I should have something to remind me of Toto.
Get your own pug. That's what you should do. Dogs are fantastic.
I travel too much. It would
That's
be
good.
difficult. I don't have anyone here in Miami to look after a pug.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Well, before we start talking about Bernardo's game, I got to stoke the fire just a little bit. It was something that was said, brought up on our last video with you, how you felt about a certain video game character in their game. And prior to us starting to record, we chimed in a little bit. So, your thoughts on Sonic Shadow Generations? I'm excited.
I have not played the new movie or the
new game that's coming out.
I'm
excited.
I do not fuck with 3D Sonic. I will say, as a child of the Dreamcast era, I absolutely loved Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2. But I was a child. I did not know better. No, I mean, playing those games, also, I do think that those games were a little bit more simplified. The more they advance, the more things they try to add, like mechanics. And it's always like, oh, jump and then target the thing and like dash to the thing. And then there's like a camera movement and you're like flying through the air and bouncing. And it breaks up the action instead of like actually feeling like you're doing anything. And so I think that we spoke about it last time. The Sonic, the open world one.
Frontiers.
I've always thought that Sonic should be something more similar to a racing game or something like an open world kind of like what do you call it? Traversal platformer.
It gives you a lot more freedom. It feels like the chains are like off of you. At least when you're in them, because then you'll go into like still like 3D environments, but with like, well, some of them are actually 2D, but or at least 2D planes, and those feel more like the older games as well.
I don't expect them to forget Sonic, but I think that they should move it into that direction. Like, it's a weird comparison. I don't know if I ever made it last time, but I don't know if either of you have played Warframe.
No, but I know what you're talking about.
Warframe has a thing that like the act of moving in that game is really cool. You slide, then you press like the jump button as you press the bullet button, and so you do a bullet jump and you kind of soar into the air, and you can, as you're soaring, like slide again, and you do kind of a faster slide, and you can keep on getting momentum like that.
That's cool.
And so like the act of moving through the world is really active and really like engaging, and there's nothing to it. It just feels good, and you're just going faster and faster. And like, I feel like Sonic should do something like that, of like just let you go at light speed, like fucking break your game, but like have something active that just like really gets you going. And
So
it,
it's
it
perfect for
always just
Shadow.
feels like
Shadow has guns, you know.
but it always just feels like you're pushing forward and it just goes. It goes really fast and it's really difficult to turn. And that's it. That's what Sonic does.
I think Frontiers you would be a little softer on. I don't
I'm
think you
sure.
would. I don't think you'd be over the moon for it, but I think you'd be like, this is heading in the right direction. And I feel like that game sold really well. I wouldn't be surprised
Yeah.
if we don't see a sequel in the next 2 to 3 years.
I would expect to.
Yeah.
But the best Sonic game in the last I don't know how many years is Racing Transformed. Racer Transform. It's a
That
racer
was
game.
supposed to be very good. I haven't played that one, but I heard it's very good.
Mm-hmm.
It's a racing game. Sonic should be a racing game. He goes fast. That's what cars do.
Makes sense. I see the logic in connecting those dots.
Yeah.
You excited about Shadow Sonic Generations, Matt?
I'll get it eventually. But I mean, so look, this is a remake. This is a remake of Sonic Generations, right? It just included a bunch of stuff for Shadow for the movie, and
with Keanu Reeves as the voice, which is very important.
I mean, Keanu Reeves is cool, but I don't care.
No, I don't care. I could not care less.
So Sonic Generations looks cool, like it's awesome. Like, but I already have Sonic Generations, and they're selling me the same game again. Like, I'd rather. Yes, Shadow's in it. Yes, the movie hype. They're going to get a bunch of kids. A lot. The game is going to sell well. Period. Look, it's going to sell well. When will I buy it?
When it's $19.99.
I already know when it's going to be $19.99. It's the day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday. That game will be discounted, and that's when I will buy the game. Just like Frontiers. Frontiers came out a month later. Was Black Friday. I got Frontiers. It was a $60 game, and I think I paid somewhere between $20 to $30 for it. So I'll get Generations on Black Friday. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not paying $60 for it. I would have done the same damn thing with Assassin's Creed if they didn't push that back. So now I won't be buying that until God knows when.
I know. I was kind of looking forward to that myself.
They could have got me to pay full price for it, but Ubisoft typically drops the price of their game like within a month. So I'm just prone to like waiting. Where Sony stopped doing that. Sony was doing that for a long time, and now they're really keeping the value of their games. If you've paid attention, they're a lot more like Nintendo than they've ever been as far as like keeping their prices up.
Not only that, but they're releasing them at fuller price.
Yeah, that's true.
Like a year after it released the first time.
Oh yeah. Are you talking about the price increase with Horizon Zero Dawn?
Yeah, that's funny. I mean, I already have it, so I don't care. But it was. Why don't they just plan this ahead? Of course, it was going to happen.
Right. If they increased the price of this like a year ago,
nobody would have known.
Nobody would even said anything. They're just like, okay, like it wouldn't have mattered.
Just looks so petty.
A few like a month away, and they're like, oh, raise the price now. Like, of course, it's obvious.
Oh shit, we're gonna sell it for, and they can get an upgrade for. Oh shit, we need to increase the price, guys.
Just go buy a used copy at GameStop for $5 and then give them the $10 for the upgrade. That's what you should do.
I wonder if that works.
It does.
It does, okay.
They said you can't like not have the physical copy though. So as long as you have the disc, you'll be able to do it.
Right.
So I have the disc, so I'm good.
Maybe GameStop will start raising the price of that as well.
Well, I'm assuming they're going to sell more copies, which will make their inventory go down, which will make the price go up. So that you should see a price increase. So if you want your Horizon Zero Dawn on the cheap, go pick it up at GameStop right now.
I still haven't played it. I still haven't played it.
Or just play the original, and it's fine. It's a fine game. Whatever changes they're gonna make, it's gonna be barely noticeable.
It's a great game. I love Horizon. Look, the character Aloy is fine. She's fine. I'll give you that. She's fine. Whatever.
I have nothing against it. I think it's a great game.
The game is so much fun to play, though. It's so much fun to play.
I like the first one much more than I like the second one. I bounced off the second one. I think that the combat got real annoying. I think that we also spoke about this last time.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of understand where you're coming from, but I mean, I still think that the second one is probably still one of the best. I'm not a PC gamer, but I think that's probably one of the best looking games I've ever seen, if not the best.
I'm sure. Yeah, I mean that's not questionable. Like Sony does put money in that. Yeah. Like The Last of Us looks amazing.
Mhm.
That one looks amazing. The
Which Last of Us? The remaster or the re-remaster? Which one are you talking?
It has always looked fine. That original one looked fine.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big fan of the way that they're doing the remasters as well. I feel like they're trying to make them more like realistic, because the first one had a very distinct comic bookness to it. I think the character designs had a bit of a stylized nature, and now they're kind of gritty. And I mean, I don't know. It's the same thing with Uncharted. I feel like very subtly we've been seeing the humanification of what's his name, Nathan Drake.
Nathan Drake, yeah.
Yeah, he used to be a comic book character, and now he's just like a fucking generic. I don't know
Yeah, he
who's
felt
an
way
action
more.
hero
He
today.
felt way more Indiana Jones in the first game or two, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Now he's just a pretty actor. I don't know who it is, but yeah, I'm sure someone gives a face to him now.
Yeah,
It feels more appealing to maybe a more like generic audience, I suppose. It's like, oh, it's like a movie, you know?
yeah, yeah. I can see that. I wish out of all the remakes they've done, I really wish they would remake the first one. I really enjoyed that first Uncharted, and people like are like, oh, it's not. I'm like, dude, no, that first Uncharted is
First
awesome.
one was really
It's
good. It is.
awesome.
I mean, the second one is
It's the
really
better
good
one.
too. It is the better one, but the
Sure.
first one was really good.
I enjoy the first one. The first one has a few issues, but it's good as well.
But if they just cleaned it up, polished it up, tightened the
Yeah.
controls a little bit, I mean, that would be an outstanding game.
Didn't lock you up in a monster closet with a shotgun with one bullet. That would have been a good start. So you wouldn't have to just fucking delete your save and go to the previous one. Uh,
Yeah, I'd imagine. I didn't have that problem, but I'd imagine that would be annoying.
yes, that happened to me twice. Twice playing that game at launch.
I conserve my ammo like a whore in every game. It doesn't matter if it's Resident Evil or not. Like I'm
Just
conserving as
you
much
never
ammo
knew.
as I possibly can. Always.
You never knew what was a point of no return, and you had nothing left. So you'd be like, okay, hopefully I'll pick up something here, and it's just you drop you into another monster closet. I'm like, okay. I guess. I mean, if I was super skillful, I could like melee take down a few guys and get their guns, and I don't know, John Wick my way through it, maybe. But I'm bad at games. Uh,
I mean, I'm the guy who has like all the extra like strong potions and like everything you would want to use. I hoard it all. Everything I possibly can, and then the game ends, and I'm like,
yeah,
that was a waste of me saving all this.
yeah. I've got all the what's it called, the sprays, the first aid sprays at the end of all Resident Evils. I've never used one like in any Resident Evil.
Zelda's the worst offender, dude. And every time I end a Zelda game, like at least the ones where you have the breakable weapons, I have like these amazing weapons that I haven't touched, and just a stash of them. Like, I always use the
The
crappiest
new
weapon
one,
I have. Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom
yeah,
and Breath of the Wild. I've always stashed
any of those, yeah.
the great weapons. So when I end the game, I have all these amazing weapons. Like I didn't even use them.
That was a terrible system. I thought it was a terrible system.
I mean, I love Zelda so much, especially Tears of the Kingdom. But
yeah.
I could live without the breakable. If they went back to non-breakable weapons, I'd be totally fine with that.
Yeah. No, I think that like I understand what they were trying to do. It made a very like broken economy to it, because it wasn't worth engaging enemies for the currency that were your weapons would break more than you'd get back. So you ended up kind of avoiding most things by the end of that game. I was like, oh shit, no, I'm not gonna like use my pretty weapons on you fucking Lizalfos, whatever.
Yeah.
What are you gonna give me, a boomerang? Thank you. No.
It's true, man. You'd save
Yeah.
them for like those the hell were those horse guys called?
Yeah, the Linos.
The Linos, yeah. Jesus God. You run into one of those?
You know what? In that first game, that's all I fought.
Really?
That was my like. I love Souls likes, Dark Souls. That was my whole point in that game, destroying every Lino. It was fun, but they all fought the same way, so it was a bit boring in the end.
I probably beat 1 or 2 of them in both those games.
Yeah.
Like a total of 3 or 4 combined in both games. I avoided those things like the plague.
They're fun, but they were not worth fighting, really. No.
Yeah. All right, so let's start talking about your game, sir. So NBB.exe, Raptus Games. Give us an update on what's going on with you. Obviously, your game released.
Yes.
I'll let you talk about whatever you want. I haven't had a chance to play your game. Unfortunately, I use all Macs. We talked about this. This is a Steam game. That's where it was based on. Hopefully, you'll bring it to consoles because that's where Wes and I thrive, right? We love
Right.
Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo. I mean, you could talk about your plans if you have plans on bringing it there. Then I will, dude. I'm gonna 100% play your game. I cannot wait to play your game because it sounds like it's right up my alley. But I'll let you take the.
It's
floor.
very hard.
I don't care. Metroidvania,
yeah.
give it to me all day.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, today I was actually watching a Brazilian guy stream it, and they were saying that it's a Kaizo game, which I know what Kaizo games are. I didn't plan to do that.
What's a Kaizo game?
Have you ever seen a game called like I Want to Be the Guy?
No.
They're like sort of ROM hacks of Mario that are completely unfair.
Oh, like hard as hell. Like,
hard as hell, okay. Impossible. Like you can only get through a level if you've played it before and know where every death is.
Gotcha.
Because like there'll be spikes in places where there's floor, so if you touch it you die. And like those games, the whole thing is you're gonna die a billion times. It's unfair. And they were saying that my game was a Kaizo game. I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that hard. But yeah, I mean, honestly, if people are interested in playing it like that, I'm excited. I mean, if it finds a niche there, why not? You know.
Give us the elevator pitch for somebody who's hearing about your game for the first time. What is it exactly, and what would make you want to play it?
So it is originally it was a reinterpretation of Bomberman. I wanted to make it more of an action game. It started as a 4v4 sort of arena, single screen sort of Bomberman. You know how Bomberman works? You run around in the screen with different bombs. It was only multiplayer. And it was a lot of fun back in the day when I was studying in Australia. We used to play it with my teammates because we had little teams that were doing different games. And they loved it. And we made a few games with my partner of the time in Raptus games, but he left Raptus. But we picked the game up later on, and I started developing it, and the single player aspect kind of became more interesting to me. I wanted to add more complexities to it. I wanted to give it sort of a narrative, and it really grew to just like the multiplayer is like this thing here, and now the game is that. So it is basically a level based puzzle platformer, precision platformer that uses mechanics of Bomberman and a lot of like sort of fast paced Crash Bandicoot like levels. But the interesting thing about it is that outside of the levels there is a world, and the game is really in the world, which is not immediately evident. You can finish the game just playing through the levels and finishing the game, but that's the bad ending.
Is there still a multiplayer part of this, or did this?
Yes, there is.
Okay. Is it like co-op multiplayer, like versus, or what?
There's local co-op, local versus mostly. It's designed to be versus. You can play through the whole game co-op. It is very difficult, and it's even more difficult if you're playing with people because it's all.
You have to
of
work
course,
together.
you have to work together, and not just that, but even the camera has to keep you both on screen because it's all local co-op. So it's harder to get your bearings on like platforms when the camera is trying to. It's a little bit like Mario, you know, like Mario the Wii. What's it called? The new Super Mario Wii U things.
One person goes too far, the camera starts to fumble them.
And then you bounced on the other person, you killed them, and they're like, oh, in a bubble and you try to save them, but you jump off to your death, and now everyone's dead, and now you restart the level. Super
My
fun.
wife doesn't play many games, but we played that particular game together. Man, I thought she was going
He's
to kill
not
me
your wife
multiple
anymore.
times.
Yeah.
barely, barely skated through that one.
No, that's why I feel like the game is much more like, if you're gonna do the co-op or versus, it's the versus mode if you want to play it with other people locally. It's more, it feels more of a party game like that. There's sort of a soccer mode, there's a deathmatch mode, and there's a queen of the heel mode. And they're different kind of small arenas that have different objectives. But yeah, the big star of the game is really the story. I was telling you that the launch could have gone a little bit better. I was trying for months to get in, like, across to press and YouTubers and stuff. And well, this is kind of my fault, I suppose, because the game presents itself as something very like lighthearted and colorful and sort of like energetic, and it's a hard as hell platformer. Like, and if you actually get into the story, is an extremely dark story.
It
So
definitely doesn't present itself as a dark story. Like just from
that's
the art and like the it's very stylized. It does not look like
yeah, but
something that's going to be dark.
that's exactly like what my purpose was. But I don't think that games give themselves well to that, like especially in marketing. I was saying this the other day, which I don't know if it's a good simile or if I was just pissed off, but I feel like games are like porn. You don't want surprise porn. You know what you like, you know? I don't want like, oh, this is an incest thing. Oh, this is gay. I didn't know if I
Oh
like.
my god!
You don't want things to pop up on your game like that, you know?
Sure,
Like generally, people do search for like, oh, I want a fighting game. I want a platforming game. I want an RPG. I want a Souls like.
right? Like when I knew when you were like, oh, it's like a Metroidvania with Bomber. I was like, okay, Metroidvania. Now
Right.
you're speaking my language.
Exactly. And so, but when you see it originally, the game presents itself as a very linear sort of level based thing. And when sending it to people, they have a very hard time kind of understanding that there's a something outside of those levels of this linear structure, and that there's not like there's something a little bit more complex going on, and they dismiss it very quickly.
So is it being dismissed? Like, is it because the early levels are like that, and then it changes over time, and it kind of opens up and becomes something different? Is that what they're not seeing, or?
I mean, I wish I knew. I will say, I'll have to shout out someone. Because honestly, if the game succeeds, it'll be because of them. Is someone called Misspelled Moose on YouTube? He made a review of my game.
Mhm.
He was one of the few people that like got back to me and was like, "Yep, I'll do it, sure." And I sent him like a few like guidelines for reviewing the game, because yeah, I mean, I had an idea that it would be difficult for people just to get it immediately. But like four of the five or six of the people that I've sent review codes to, some of them responded, but most of them just, I saw the reviews, they were basic. They didn't get anything. They didn't look further than anything. Like this one
Like they
reviewer,
only played it for a few minutes and were like, oh, like something like
yeah,
that. Is that what you're saying?
or maybe they did finish the main story, but they never like went out of their way to find anything else, right? And this is the one reviewer that like got back to me, and I was like, hey, I found this, what does this mean, can you help me get further? And I would give them like hints and stuff, and he got all the way to the true ending, and he loved it. He was impressed by it. He gave it a very glowing review, and it now has like 2,000 views on YouTube,
Nice.
and my
Okay.
wish lists have skyrocketed because of that.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
And so, yeah, I mean, that's what I need. That's what I needed, someone to do that, right? And this is not a big YouTuber. This is a very like like a small channel with someone who doesn't get that sort of views normally. So
Sounds like a win-win, man. That's
no,
awesome.
of course it's wonderful, but it I was trying to get there for honestly like 3 months, I was sending it everywhere, just no response. Smaller review sites, nothing. YouTubers, most YouTubers, like because of the way that the game looks, are like, "Oh yeah, I would love to stream it and co-op with my friend." And I'm like, looking at your content. I mean, I'm gonna send you a code. I'm gonna send you a code, but you're gonna fucking hate it. It's gonna be miserable. You know.
Yeah,
This is not what you
that's
want.
not the point of it. Yeah.
Yeah, because also they're not like interested in doing like just a versus thing, right? They're gonna go through the levels and start like, oh, the platforming feels terrible, and it probably does when you're playing co-op, you know. If
Yeah.
you know the levels, we can like. I play with Rick. We play co-op, and we can beat the game sort of co-op. But it's you have to know the levels by heart, the way that they work. It's hard. The game is fucking hard, right? I mean, I don't think so, but everyone tells me it was like, no, your game is fucking hard. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy right now with how it's going in that sense. Um, I hope that maybe it gets some sort of status as a, I don't know, a niche platformer. I am trying to eventually move it to the Xbox.
Hey man, if you get on a console,
Yay!
Yeah,
not that if I let me be clear, if I had a, I don't even have a PC in this damn house that's not mine. Like the PCs that are in my house
yeah,
that are function. Let's call them functional PCs. The only one
yeah.
I have is my work computer. I'm not allowed to do anything on that. Like it's
Of
completely
course.
locked down by my company. So I would totally be all over this. I'd be checking it out if I absolutely could. But if you do bring it to consoles, you will 100% see me and Wes and I's ass on there for sure.
Yeah, no, I want
100%.
to.
100%.
I think that the space is also better for that, at least for that type of game. Um, I think
I
that
can see that.
more people will be interested in playing a game like that. I mean, I've had a lot of people trying to insist on playing it with keyboard, and I'm like, you're not gonna get through the game on a keyboard, friend.
What would be involved in moving it to console?
I mean, honestly, now it's just paying fees and stuff like that.
Why do you have to pay? Like, I mean,
I mean, I can tell you.
like a
So
license. I'm sure you have to get like a licensing fee, right, to be able to use it on. Like, that's probably the only fee. I don't know. You tell me.
I mean, I already. So there are NDAs about Microsoft that I cannot really speak of much,
Okay.
but I have everything on that side already sorted out. My current issue is that for the Unity, the engine that I use, in order for them to allow you to export to the to consoles, you need to get like the Pro Plus version, right? And I currently have like the basic Pro.
Sure. The Pro Plus is probably like
Yeah.
a ridiculous amount of money. That's how they're
I
making.
mean, it's not that much, but I've spent so much money on this game, and like it's enough for me to be like you can check the prices. It's like $2,000 for a year.
Hmm.
I think you can pay monthly, but I think I would probably pay a year because it's like much cheaper, and you're better off having at least a year because you know you're gonna have to do patches and stuff. You don't want to
Well,
be
so,
paying monthly.
what would be the benefit of you paying that extra $2,000? Or like, how would that? Would it be? Do you think it would be worth it? And what would it do that's different?
I mean, it wouldn't do anything different. It would just allow me to publish.
Hmm.
There's a button where it says export to this platform,
Bullshit. I mean,
and
Hmm.
I get
in my
even if
current
it's free.
version,
Like, I get that they have to make money somehow. I do
yeah,
understand it, but damn, that sucks, man.
Wow.
yeah, yeah. And so yeah, if I wanted to press that button, you have to pay, and that's it. That's it. It used to be free. Xbox used to have a program that they would allow you some access to it as an independent, but that does not exist anymore because indies are a dime a dozen, and
It seems like Xbox is opening up more to indies, at least as of just the past few weeks. They, there was a company that got was not getting help from them. Then,
oh yeah, yeah.
Steam reached out, and it seems like after that happened, some I don't work for Microsoft. It seems like some shit went down, and they were like, "Listen,
Where
stop making it difficult for these people to get into our platform." It seems
no,
like something
no.
like that happened.
I mean that's always the case, but the truth is that the issue is a little bit more systemic, I find. Uh, it used to be that indies were a value for platforms.
Mhm.
There weren't that many. Like
Yeah,
in
when
the
like Braid was like crushing it, and like back God, what was that,
exactly,
2006, 2007, somewhere around there.
yeah, all these indie games became like a bit of a comparative advantage for these platforms.
Hmm.
But now that indies have been kind of democratized, as they like to say, there's just too many, and there's too many that are at pretty decent level. And so because there's such offer to them, they don't they can like they can put up the wall, because it's not worth it for them to be like paying off Unity license fees forever for every developer, when there's going to be so many developers in the platform that they're not going to sell anything because they don't have the distinction anymore. So it stops becoming like an advantage for their platform. And so they are interested in having you there, but they're not going to make as much of an effort for you to be there as they used to. And
Gotcha.
that is the big, like, the sucky part of it now. um Everyone's very interested in you self-publishing, but nobody really, but they don't want to really help you.
Does let me ask you this. You may not be able to talk about it, but did you try to get onto like Game Pass or anything like that?
you I don't know. I don't know if that's, if you can even speak of that. The
Yeah,
truth is
that's
that,
what I'm saying. I'm not trying to ask you if you
no, no, the
did.
point is that, like,
You can say.
I don't really know if I can I have any information of it.
Oh, okay.
There's no way to do it from your side.
So you think they're like handpicking these? Like somebody's going through and like, we
I
want you to be on Game Pass.
Honestly, what happens is that they work with publishers and not independent self-publishing partners. It's what I was telling you. So this is a bit of a whistleblower because I don't give a fuck, honestly. I just, yeah. Um, there was this game in Steam that released some time ago called Content Warning, I believe. It got pretty big. It's one of those like extraction sort of multiplayer,
I've heard of this
like
before. That name sounds.
Phasmophobia.
Yeah, that name sounds so familiar. I've definitely heard of this game.
Yeah, and so what happened is that for that game, the game got released on Steam for free for a day.
Yes, yes. I know. I
Yes.
know exactly. I don't know the game, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
And the next day it was $9, I believe, or $7.99, something like that.
And people wanted it because it blew up
Yeah,
from being free for
exactly.
that day.
Yeah. And so I thought, hey, I'm down to do this. I want to put my game out for free, maybe for a day or two. And so I contacted Steam, and it's like, actually, only special partners, you're
That's
not
bull.
special enough.
That's
Wow.
such bullshit.
And
Oh, you
so,
can do it, but you can't. Oh my god, man.
no, you can only do 40% off of your launch. And I'm, fuck, okay, fine, I guess.
That
That's all I could do.
it seems to me it's like, oh, do you know somebody? No, you don't know anybody.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly. No, I mean, that's what it is. And something even more upsetting that I'm still struggling with, my game is a heavy-ish game for how small it is. It has a fair few features that are kind of like next gen-y, whatever. It's heavier than it looks. It's not just like an indie looking indie, you know. It has a lot of filters and effects and stuff. And so I've been trying to optimize it a lot for handhelds, for Steam Deck, right? Because that's a big thing nowadays. If
Yeah,
it
that
runs on the Steam
absolutely
Deck,
is.
especially because if it runs on the Steam Deck, you get a different section on the store.
Well, that's definitely huge.
Right.
That's gonna raise your noticeability. You know.
So, since months ago, since I had a build ready, uploaded on Steam, I was trying to get certified for Steam Deck. There is no way for me to get certified for Steam Deck until they say so. Only certain partners have the ability to get their software certified for Steam Deck.
Wow, that's
And
crazy.
so
They have so much money and so few employees. That is unbelievable.
I imagine that that's the thing, right? They have a lot of money, not many employees, so they don't have the bandwidth to just allow
But if you
everyone.
have all the money, then you have the bandwidth. Like, hire somebody. It's not
That's what I thought.
complicated.
That's what I would think. But like, it actually tells you, like, if you're selected, you'll see a button here. If you're not, wait
So,
for your chance.
dude, that reminds me so much. Like, this is probably not good to say on this platform, but YouTube just doesn't give a like about anything. Like, if you have a
No.
problem, it's like you basically are left praying to the gods that someone's gonna notice what you're saying and respond. And usually, you have to just beat them over the head in social media to get a
Yeah.
hold of a human to help you with a problem. It's
Yeah.
like insane. Like Google, you can't afford someone to fix YouTube. A third of the people in the world, let me say that one more time, a third of the people in the world use YouTube, and you can't afford to get people to help the people who are putting shit on your platform.
It is awful.
That's insane.
Hmm.
Yeah. No, and it's not even like you can't even get a hold of people. That's the other thing. Because like it's been such like loops that I've had to hop around to even get an answer about these things.
Bots and AI first, man.
Yeah.
Always a
Wow.
bot or an AI first.
And like, for example, for the first thing, for getting the game free for a few days and then releasing paid, I answered, like, I went to the Steam answers or whatever, and I had a ticket. I was like, hey, I would like to do this, and the first answer was like, no, that's not possible. And I'm like, bitch, this game, this was the price. I like, I screenshotted. This was the price at launch. This was the price 2 days after. Okay, you're telling me that's not possible. And it's like, and then it was like, excuse us, we have a very trusted relationship with the developer, blah blah blah, and they do very creative things. And I was like, and you are not one of them, and you cannot sit with us.
Dude.
So I mean, it feels like everything is sort of stacked against you. I don't know, and it has been such a struggle to get anyone to look at the game. And when someone really does and actually delves into it, they do appreciate it. But getting that extra mile is such a challenge. Everything seems to have to be like really up in your face and really already knowing what you are required to say or to show. It's hard to explain, but like, it's very disappointing for me that games need to be already proven sort of valuable to be valuable. It's sort of the same thing as like, oh, you need 3 years of experience to get into a job. Like, how?
They just need to have better curation. Like, they need to. These companies would benefit so much. I don't think they even understand how much more they would benefit if they just curated the products. Like, no offense to indie developers, right? But there are some people out there who are just asset flipping, filling up these stores with garbage, and then a game where you spent 10 years making
Yeah.
can't get the attention that it deserves. That's insane. Like, that's a problem with your platform. Go on the Switch shop. Holy shit. Go on the, I'm sorry, eShop, whatever it's
Yeah.
called. Go in there and just see what the deals are. It's like
No, it's
25,375 deals this week. What do you mean? What do you
Yeah.
mean? Like, how can I filter anything of quality on their store? There's nothing.
no. You go into Steam and it's all like porn games, and like not even games. They're just like basically porn images tied together with like
Like,
moaning sounds.
You move the squares around and there's a scantily
Yeah.
clad person behind it.
It's so depressing. But I think that there's also like a sort of an audience issue. Like, I did a bunch of different trailers for my game, and I come from a place where I was a motion graphics designer before I was a game designer, right? I kind of have know my way about like trailers and rhythm and sort of pacing, and I want to have an arc to my trailers, right?
Mhm.
When I showed this to people in the gaming space, it was like, why is there no gameplay in the first frame? Now, gameplay. Now, show me why I played your game. And it's like, because I want you to have to go in like a bit of a journey with me. But no, that's why we have trailers that start with trailer starts now. Because like fucking people have no attention span, so they can't even get through a minute of trailer.
Dude, it's gotten
Right.
dude, things like TikTok and like stuff like that where it's like 15-second videos have ruined people, man. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
uh not to bring it up a second time, but if you guys use YouTube, if anybody's used YouTube and you watch your I can't remember what it's called, but basically it's like a timer, like how long they watch your video till they fall off. It is
Yeah.
seconds. It is not
Yeah.
minutes. It is
Yeah.
literally
No.
seconds. You have
Everyone's
seconds to
skipping right
capture
through 'em.
someone's attention.
No, and that's the thing. Like I don't know whose problem it is. I understand. I ended up doing a bunch of little trailers that were just action, 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 just show you like yeah, porn, you know?
Yeah,
Bareback. Right there.
that's a lot of these YouTubers who are big. They just, for me, I'm older. Look, I'm 40, and when these you like I watch
Yay, we're
popular YouTube.
40.
Yeah,
We're
man.
40.
When I watch these popular YouTubers, they jump like I'm gonna throw out an example. And I like this person, Scott the Woz. His videos
Right.
are so fast. The first time I watched them, like, what the fuck? Like, it's almost like hard for me to comprehend what's happening. But I understand he's captured all the young people. He's captured all the old people that are old enough to like old enough, but like still understanding where he's going. Like everything happens so fast that you don't have time to think about what just happened. You have no time to
Yeah.
think about what he just said. He's already on to the next thing. And I think
Mhm.
his videos are great, but it's also like I get done watching them like, what did he talk about?
That's too quick.
I have no
Yeah,
idea.
I mean all of these like fucking TikTokers that are running over the sentences with the next sentence and it's like it never has any pause because they need to keep on like I don't know. I find it exhausting. And yeah, there's no sense of rhythm, there's no sense of like arc to anything. And the same thing with my game. I feel like if I wanted it to sell more, I would have had to put like I don't know, anime girls with larger tits. It's just it needs to be there. What you want needs to be there, right there. And like I show it to other friends, and they're like, "Oh, I would like it, but if it was darker and like more metal." And I'm like, "It is like get into the game. It's fucking metal. Just give it a chance. Give it a chance just for something to surprise you.
Yeah.
Give anything a chance for something to surprise you." But no one wants surprises in their porn.
Instant gratification.
Yeah.
I beat games that I don't even like sometimes, man. Like that like just out of a point, I'm like, well, I'm this
Yeah,
far. I might as well finish it, you know?
it's most of the games I beat.
I wasn't always like that. I was more like jumping all over the place, and it's still hard for me. But even if I like semi like a game, I'm like, all right, I got to beat this. Like that's been like a point of contention these past few years is for me to complete more games, just so I can see like the full vision as opposed to
Yeah,
halfway through and fall out. Like
I
I'm
get it.
kind of forcing myself to play. And in most situations, I like the games, right? But there's a handful of situations where I'm like, I'm just playing this to see the outcome at the end, and at the end you may like the game more than
Yeah.
when you were halfway through it, depending on what else happened.
I mean, Stockholm syndrome kicks in.
So
No, but I get you. I also try to, although I barely ever play now. And
Time is a
yeah.
yeah.
Wes is a little bit older than us, so I feel he doesn't have a lot of time. I'm not going to say Wes has a
I,
lot of time, but I feel like he has a little bit more time than me.
I don't have as much time as I want to. I
No,
really
you don't.
don't.
Do you have more
Nobody
time than
does.
10 years ago?
I have less time than 10 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
More time than 5 years ago?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
When does it get better, Wes? That's all I want to hear out of your
It
mouth.
doesn't. It
Tell me
doesn't.
it gets better at some point.
It doesn't. It all sucks. It's all downhill from here on out.
The problem is you never know how good you have it until it's gone, right? Like when I was in college and like just drinking and playing games and playing poker and stuff all the time, I took all that time for granted.
At least I'll say this is a hobby that we can do until we're practically dead.
True. Which is true.
Oh yeah, when
Because
we're in
other
retirement
things,
homes,
the
we're gonna be playing games all day long. Like, you want to have a LAN party?
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, maybe not like that. Those things are heavy.
but Bernardo, I just want to ask, you've worked on this game, like you said, for 10 years.
Hmm.
Sweating, blood, tears, all poured into this game. It is finally released. How
Hmm.
does that make you feel?
Good. I mean, it's bittersweet, as I said. Um, Parts of me are kind of just thank God it's over. But I mean, other parts are fairly happy with the success, and like I don't know what to do with my time often. Like right now, I'm still working on it. I'm. I'll give you a first a scoop, but I just today was implementing a third person mode, which
Oh, nice.
like it's more like a Mario now. You
That's
can
cool.
yeah.
Does
So
it make the
that's
platforming easier? I'd imagine
some of it.
some of it.
Some of it is harder, but like says you have the option to swap it. You can swap in real time. So
I just heard that they're making like God, what the hell was it? It was some popular first-person shooter. They're turning it third person. Halo,
yeah,
Halo. They're
Halo,
making it a
Halo, yeah,
third-person game, and I was like,
yeah.
Wait, what?
yeah, yes, they're making Halo third. Like, they're giving you the option, just like he said, right? They're giving you the
It's fun.
option to play third person. I was just like,
Yeah.
I just look. That's cool to do, right? But this is Halo. Like, can you go do that shit to something else? Like, this is Halo. What do you know what Halo is? Can you understand the definition of what you're working on?
Well, I mean, Halo's
I
not Halo anymore.
I didn't hear that at all.
It's. I mean, I think it's fine. But yeah, I mean, to answer your question, I'm really happy that like there's time to
Hmm.
do other things now,
Okay.
to play around with. I mean, I really want to make some smaller things, some like fun projects. I want to get into Unreal. I want to see other options. Maybe work on little what's it called, like game jams.
Okay.
Nice.
Do things like that because I never had the time to do that. And yeah, I don't know. It always felt like if I do something like that, I'm gonna have to put this on hold. And yeah, not having it at least doesn't give you that excuse.
Okay. I know you
Yeah.
just released this one, but any thoughts on your second game
I mean, this is like my fourth game technically.
or the next game? Let's say.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I already have. I have been like pre-producing a game for again probably 5 years, 10 years as well.
Damn.
But I mean, it was mostly just in
Like
more
concepts and stuff.
like concept stuff. Yeah, some some just prototype ideas, nothing established. But it's my big baby.
Do
That's
you want to say what kind of game it's going to be, or you're not even close to that yet?
no, it is. It's absolutely it's a horror exploration game,
Oh,
and it's also a Metroidvania, but it's a very different type of Metroidvania.
yeah. I'm
You
trying to
got
wrap my head around that.
It's
Dread. Think of Metroid Dread,
Dread. Okay,
maybe.
but it's a first person game.
but it's
It's
first person,
yeah,
which I think probably works better for most horror.
yeah. It's but it's also like lightly horror. I don't want it to be a jump scare thing.
Okay,
It's mostly about exploration.
Hmm.
that sounds cool to me, man.
Yeah,
Exploration's some of the biggest stuff that I love. So
yeah. The same. I think that puzzle exploration is my jam. And what they call, I mean, my genre. I don't know if you guys know about this. This is a stupid thing that stupid people call stupid things. But there's a new-ish genre called Metroid Brainias.
oh no, this sounds terrible.
No, it's fine. I like the idea of it.
What is it?
Um, it's basically a Metroidvania that doesn't limit you from abilities, but from your knowledge of the world and the functioning of the world. Like
It sounds like a
Fence.
lot of reading, though.
No, no, no. Like, have you played Tunic? You hadn't played Tunic.
I unfortunately have not played. It's not a game I would play. I would definitely play Tunic, but I have not gotten there yet.
You said you liked Zelda. Why don't you play Tunic?
I don't know.
It's a very
I
Zelda-like.
heard it was pretty damn hard too. Like I heard it was
Not really.
No?
I mean, there are moments in that game, but once you get to the point that you understand the mechanics of it, it's fine.
But if you don't like, here's the thing. This is my concern with that game. I don't know that it's true. I just heard that like you have to refer to your manual a lot, and which is fine. But I'm a dum dum, and I'm gonna forget about it. I'm gonna be sitting there for like 60 minutes. Like, what the hell am I supposed to do? And I'm supposed to refer to the damn manual. And I'm gonna forget about it. I know it's gonna happen.
I'll tell you something. The manual is part of the game in the game.
But if I forget about it, that's gonna be a problem, is it not?
It's impossible to forget about it because it's the items in that game. The items in that game are the pages of the manual.
Okay.
So it insists upon itself. But the point is more that like your understanding the way that the world works makes it possible to progress through the world.
Okay.
I don't know if you played, probably not either, but Outer Wilds.
I know exactly what you're talking about, but I have not played it.
Right.
Have you played that one, Wes?
I haven't.
It's a cycle that repeats itself every 22 minutes. It's a universe that's dying. And you have 22 minutes to explore this whole universe. And you can progress further, but the only thing stopping you is understanding what's happening. Right? And how to get to different places, because these 22 minutes are always repeating itself. Like the whole world is in this cycle. So by using those 22 minutes in an intelligent way, you can actually reach the end of this story. But that's what's limiting you. Only your knowledge of this. There's no more abilities that you unlock. There's nothing like unique to. There's no missiles that you shoot to the green button to open them, right?
Gotcha.
It's only your knowledge. So that's why Metroid Brain is. But
I don't know. I'd have to try it. I'd have to see what they're all about.
I really would recommend Fez. I mean Fez is one.
Oh.
And Tunic.
I'm more. I know what Fez is. I'd probably be more interested in Tunic just because it is very similar to Zelda. So
yeah, I mean Tunic is very simple and it's not long. I don't think that you'll have trouble like getting to the true ending because it's very free to get there. But everyone gets a walkthrough.
Yeah, usually with the games with multiple endings, I just beat it the way I beat it, and then I tell myself that was the ending no matter what, just because it was the ending that happened to me. Like these guys
just be happy with it.
Wes and I just talked about this on the last podcast, but you know those what the hell's his name? David Cage, the guy who did Quantic Dream, his games. Mm-hmm. I fucking call them up, dude. I mess everything up all the time. Always at the end. I go through the whole game, just nail it. Like everything I want to do, good. Last scene of the game, I destroy everything. I burn it all to the ground. All the progress I made. Do I go back and replay it? Like I probably should because I spent all that time. No, I just say I messed up. This is the outcomes of what I've done.
Well, so those games are silly. It's kind of funner for everything to be stupid at the end. I remember what's it called? Heavy Rain. It was so dumb. I just wanted everyone to die. I intentionally killed everyone in that game.
Heavy Rain was so good.
Why didn't you like it? What?
Because it's stupid, but it's funny. Like I don't know. It's this. Well, spoilers, but this cop had organized this saw-like traps, and then. I don't know. He had the kid, and it's dumb. It's a dumb story.
But there are different endings depending on what you do. So it just
depends. I've seen them. I just
oh man, Heavy Rain was I thought was so good.
Jason,
like the Jason thing is funny. Yeah, the Jason thing is funny. But to Wes's point, that game was good, man. It was good.
Detroit was way better though.
Was it? I didn't get through Detroit.
Detroit was dope.
Yeah, it was.
I'm sure.
I want to throw something back at you, sir, just to end this on a high note for myself. I did finally play Hollow Knight.
Oh, yeah, well done.
It's not good. I don't like it at all.
You don't?
No,
Did you finish it or?
no. I
Oh,
just
okay.
I played. Here's how much I took your word. Not only did I played it multiple times, not enjoying it any of the times that I played it. And I'm not saying I'm not. There was a minute where I was like, I might understand this, I might get it. There was not fun. There was something not fun about the game, and it's hard for me to describe. The combat was fine. This
Right.
the aesthetics were pleasing. I like the darkness of the game, but I was just like, this is boring. That's all that kept coming into my mind. I know everybody has different opinions, but you had
Yeah.
to shoot at Sonic, so I had to shoot at Hollow Knight. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I tried it like
I
3 or
mean,
4 times. I literally tried it over and over and over again, and I was like, I don't.
it's a
understand it.
very classic Metroidvania though, but
I get that, but I was bored. Like, I'm not bored with
Yeah.
Metroid. I'm not bored with Castlevania. You know,
no.
I don't know what about this game was boring to me, but I don't.
Hmm.
I
Was
think
it challenging? Because that's one thing.
it was a little challenging.
It
It's
it gets pretty hard. Like that game gets pretty hard towards the end.
I can definitely see that happening, but I've also beaten like the first Ori and the Blind Forest. There was a goddamn level in that game that was so effing hard, where there was like a waterfall or something. Like I wanted to throw the game in the trash, but I eventually got past it, and like that game was awesome. Was
Hmm.
it like that hard, or did you play Ori?
No, I mean it's much harder.
I don't think I would have made it. I probably would have gotten extremely frustrated.
No, I mean the thing is that it's all optional though. Like once you get to 100% and the 120% of completion, they're all
Okay.
stupid. They're all stupid. Yeah, I didn't get 100. Like I think I had like 113% completion.
That's still
And
pretty damn far.
yeah, but there's a few bosses that I was like, no, we're not gonna do that.
I mean, I could see it getting there. I was frustrated at a few different points, but
I think that like one the point in that game that things clicked for me, I will say I see why. I think that it's also easy to get bored on Metroidvanias if you don't see a significant like level of progress or change.
I definitely didn't see that. I'm just like, what the
Yeah,
hell is happening? Like, nothing is going
yeah,
like.
and I think
I wasn't getting more powerful. I was just like, this is just annoying. Like,
yeah, and I think that like the moment for me that happened is significantly far into the game, and it's a fight called the Mantis Lords. Uh, it's a fucking cool fight. I think it's one of the best like boss fights in Metroids ever. It's been like, did you play the Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown?
Yes,
Yes.
I
sir.
love that game, bro. Love that
Okay,
game.
so all of those fights in that game, like are copied out of Hollow Knight.
Oh, really?
Yes,
I had
absolutely.
no idea.
They're homages, quotation marks, because like honestly, some of them have the exact same attacks, like the everything.
Dude,
Um,
that game I almost beat 100%. I was like 90, 90
yeah,
some percent. Like, I beat the hell out of that game. But there was a few
Yeah.
things where I was just like, I got so frustrated with some of the platforming. I was like, I can't. I was like, you're killing me.
yeah, I did. I also almost did, but I did not. Yes, the
Did you do
impossible
the?
climb was
I was gonna
impossible.
say, did you do the impossible climb?
No, I was okay with it.
I tried that a few times. I was like,
Yeah,
I gave up on it. My son did
yeah,
it.
yeah. No, it's
He did it.
doable. It's just like
right. You reach a point where you're just like, it's not worth the headache.
we're over 40. Like there's only limited time. Yeah, but I mean, again, I think that like the the upside of that game is that it sort of compresses what Hollow Knight does. Hollow Knight is too long. If
Okay.
that's, but I will say, like, if you liked that game, there's all of that in Hollow Knight. All of that, honestly, every single aspect of that game
Why is it
is.
taking so damn long to get to that point?
I will agree. I will agree that the start of Hollow Knight is a very slow, like, drip feed, and it's a little bit aimless. You don't know where to go. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah, I definitely had no, like, even when you start to figure things out, it's still like, well, what? I'm
yeah,
always like, well, I want to go this way because I always try to pick the wrong way. They're like, oh, the game wants me to go this way. I need to go
yeah.
this way.
Of
Like, I
course.
always try to pick the wrong way.
Yeah.
And sometimes I pick the right way and then I can't go back. And then I'm like, well, what? Like, let me go back. Like, and eventually you can, but it's just annoying.
No, often it'll just be more annoying
Right.
than anything. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I'm that's fine. I just think that it is probably the biggest evolution of like Metroidvanias today, Hollow Knight.
Okay.
And you can see how most of the newer Metroidvanias are emulating it. Like even what's it called, the latest Metroid, the Dread, has a
Dread
lot
was
of
so
it.
good. Oh my god, Dread was so good.
Dread has a lot of it. Yeah, the Two Crowns. The if you've played the Nine Souls, is very similar as
I
well.
played it.
That's a new one. But yeah, most games are now Hollow Knight likes.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
fine with that. It just, I don't know, something
Yeah.
didn't capture me about the game. That was my whole point. I just wanted to throw a little bit of shade back at you because of Sonic. So, so I feel a little bit better about myself today.
That's fine. Go ahead.
It's okay. Everybody that is like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Team Chippy is amazing. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm gonna get all that in the comments, I'm sure. But Bernardo,
mean-
thank you so much for joining us today and discussing your game, discussing games in general, letting us know some stuff that's going on with it, with indie development in general. We really appreciate you having or coming back and speaking with us today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hopefully, I have good news about it in consoles soon enough.
Man, give us that
But
console. We'll have to have you
I
back
hope
on.
so.
If you put it up on Xbox or something, I'm gonna play that most
Oh.
certainly.
Of course,
Okay.
absolutely. Well, we'll bring him back for a third time to tell us about the consoles.
That'd be all right. Yeah.
That's right.
I'll be back.
One other shout out, Bernardo, if you guys didn't know, does pretty much all or like 99% of the art and graphics that are involved in Nerd Enthusiasts. He does all of our stuff.
Sure.
So thank you for doing that for us as well. We really appreciate it. We've been working with you since the very beginning, back in like 2019 or 2020, whenever the hell we really started to take this seriously. So thank you for doing all the art for us as well.
Yes, of course. It's a pleasure. Yeah.
All right. If people want to follow you or your company, where can they
Yeah.
do so?
So I am Bernardo Del Cast at Bernardo Del Cast in X or Twitter and mostly everywhere. And if you want to follow the company, it's at Raptus, Raptus Games. Same thing everywhere.
Wes, what about you, sir? Where can people follow you?
You can catch me on Instagram at Grendel5xbx or at Level Up Entertainment if you're ever in the Atlantic City area. Come stop by.
Absolutely. Buy, consume. I don't have anything for you to buy. Just support Nerd Enthusiast whenever you guys can. Nerdenthusiast.com. At Nerd Enthusiast on all social media platforms. Support our Patreon if you guys have the means or want to do that. You guys can follow me at from NJ2CA. The 2 is a number 2 over on Twitter or X, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yeah.
Other than that, thank you guys for watching. Have an awesome day.
Take care, guys.